Hello and welcome to HPA Global Insights, where we'll be interviewing experts from the dietary supplement, nutritional ingredient, and overall natural health food industry. Please like, subscribe, turn on that little notification bell, and comment below. Now on with the show. Hi, welcome to the show. Today we are joined by our friend Wai Mun Poon. She is an independent regulatory consultant in Singapore, and we're going to talk about Singapore and dietary supplements today. Wai Mun, welcome.
Hello, Jeff. How are you? Good evening to you, and nice to see you.
Well, thank you. Nice to see you too. So for those that don't know you, so you've been around for a while. You've done a lot of amazing things working on, in the whole region of Southeast Asia, being a regulatory consultant for health products. Can you give us a little introduction about yourself and what you've been up to lately?
Sure. Thank you, Jeff. Hello, everybody. My name is Wai Mun. I'm based in Singapore, and I'm a regulatory affairs consultant that specializes in food and food supplements. So basically, I help companies to ensure their products comply with the local regulations, such as the ingredient they use, the label, and the claims. So in addition, I also provide advice on how you could get your product registered in each market.
All right, very good. So specifically today, we're going to talk about supplements and HPA China. Of course, we focus on the China market, which is very restrictive to enter the market. Once you enter the market, though, it's a different story. But it is a difficult market. So Singapore, what is it like to enter Singapore? Or let me step back a little bit. Why? Let's pose this question: If I'm a company in North America or some other place in Europe, why should I look at Singapore to bring my products to Singapore? What's good about that market?
Okay, for companies based in overseas, of course, yes, I would think Singapore is a good place for you to start to if you want to consider marketing your product in Southeast Asia markets. Firstly, for Singapore, Singapore has a high population of middle income people with very high educations, and most people in Singapore, they are aware of the benefits of health supplements and how it could help in improving their health. And the second thing is that we have a pretty well-established regulatory framework. And in fact, many of the Southeast Asian markets, like the developing markets like Cambodia, Laos, and etc., they are seeing Singapore as a benchmark for the quality control of the products. So once a product is marketed in Singapore, quite likely that many of the Southeast Asian markets, which we may intend to go in future, it'll be easier for you to bring those products on the markets.
Okay, so although it's a small country, it's quite influential in that region, and like I said, a lot of people look to that market for quality control, etc. So back to that same question of if I'm overseas and why do I want to go there? So I make the decision, hey, let's take our product over to Singapore, take our supplements over there. In terms of regulatory situation, what are we looking at as a company? Like, what is there fees involved? How long does it take to get? Is there registrations or no registrations? How's that?
Okay, first of all, companies might need to be aware, unlike in other countries, supplements is regulated under the pharmaceutical product regulatory framework. But having said that, health supplements is still regarded as a low risk product. So at this moment, there's no pre-marketing approval required. All the company need to do is to ensure that your product comply with the regulations, which is generally found in the health supplement guidelines. So you just have to ensure the ingredients are not found on the negative list, and the claims and the label requirements follow exactly what is required in the guidelines.
Okay,
but if you're not too sure, of course, I can help you with that.
so yeah, it is a little bit different. So it is under drug, but it's considered a low risk kind of drug, and it's regulated under that instead of the food. That's interesting. Now, is there any What is the part of the regulations that probably cause the most problems for international brands when they show up in Singapore?
Okay, first of all, some of the ingredients that might be allowed in, for example, US, may be not allowed in Singapore. But I think the most critical questions will be on the claims, because some of the companies may not be aware of what kind of claims that may be allowed for supplements products. So
Okay.
yeah.
So what kind of claims? So in the US market, we have structure function claims. So we can say like, this is good for your cardiovascular system, but we can't say this treats or cures heart disease or something like that. So what kind of claims typically are acceptable?
Okay, for Singapore, we try to align ourselves with the international standards. So for the use of claims, we try to align with the Codex framework for health claims. But having said that, for Codex, there are 3 types of claims, but for Singapore, we only allow general health claims or functional claims. For example, calcium is good for your bones. But when we move to higher level claims like disease risk reduction claims, for example, calcium help to reduce the risk of osteoporosis. Currently, this is still not allowed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But having said that, I think the health authority in Singapore is looking to permit such claims in the future.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like it's a little bit similar maybe to the US, where you can't get very specific and you can't mention, any kind of disease or curative claim. Calcium is good for your bones, coenzyme Q10 is good for your heart, these type of very general terms is that acceptable?
Yes, this sort of general claim will be acceptable because based on the definition of health supplements, is used to maintain and support healthy functions. So just like many other countries, claims that directly or directly claims on the prevention or treatment of disease are not allowed.
Okay. Now, in terms of registration, is there an actual registration process where you have to present the product to the government and they will give you some kind of registration or approval process?
Because there's still no pre-marketing approval required in Singapore, so no registration is required.
Okay.
So the control at this moment is more on post-marketing surveillance. So once the product is in the market, the authority do go out to check to ensure that they comply with the safety requirements.
Okay, so it's kind of like the U.S. in that way too, where it's all surveillance and making sure you follow the law. Now, what you mentioned kind of a negative list or something along those lines. Is that, how extensive is that? Is there a lot of ingredients on that list that are banned?
Actually, most of those ingredients on the list are ingredients found on the poison list. That means those ingredients that is normally used for pharmaceutical products, or those really on the narcotic list, like cannabis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you just mentioned like cannabis, that like hemp.
Yes.
These products are not allowed in Singapore.
Yes. In fact, for the whole of Southeast Asia, cannabis and hemp is currently still in the narcotic list for most of the countries.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting. How about China is the same thing, that you're not allowed to really be selling that stuff, but there are ways it depends on how the product is, what is the product for? So for example, in China, there's lots of cosmetics now that have hemp. And that is allowable through like cross-border. People are selling cosmetics that have like hemp added to it, or some countries can use. How about hemp oil? Just the oil, is that acceptable, or is that like not a food product?
At this moment, it's definitely not allowed in food, and for supplements, it's also not allowed. In fact, if you're talking about CBD oil, it's already added to the negative list for health supplements.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but I understand that some companies are trying to register the ingredient as a drug product. So at least as a starting point.
Yeah, okay. So in that case, there's a process that has to go through as an ingredient, not as a product, and get approval before people can start to use that.
Yes. By this moment, it's likely to be under tighter control under the drug regulations.
Okay. Now, what about new ingredients, or not new, but ingredients maybe that are found in the U.S. market and they're added to dietary supplements? Are most of the ingredients that you would find in overseas products, you can sell those in Singapore as long as they're sold in other
Yes.
countries?
Because for Singapore, we adopted the negative list systems. So as long as your ingredient is not on the negative list and you are able to prove that it's safe, it can be used in Singapore.
Oh, okay. So first step is kind of look on that list.
Yes, but bearing in mind that certain ingredients, especially for vitamin minerals, there's a maximum levels to comply to.
Okay. All right.
And, yeah.
So there is some regulation about certain, letter vitamins, calcium, and vitamins, etc.
Yes.
Okay. And that tends to follow codex, I would assume.
For the levels of vitamin minerals, this levels is developed at the ASEAN harmonization process.
Okay.
So yeah, the levels are based on the WHO models for risk assessments.
Okay.
So for example, vitamin C, the maximum level is 1,000 milligram per day, which is what is being used in most of the vitamin C products.
Yeah, I mean, that's in the US market. Generally, you find 500 milligram tablets and 1,000 milligram tablets. Of course, there are bigger, higher levels, but I think that's a fairly general 500 to 1,000. Okay, well, that's good. That
So
sounds
for the
good.
maximum levels we are using I think it's pretty reasonable.
Sure. No, that sounds pretty good. I mean, we'd have to go over each ingredient one by one to see where that stands, but it sounds like they're pretty generous, and I think most companies would probably not find it too difficult to meet those standards.
Yeah.
So again, the regulatory situation is post-market, so that's good. Companies can show up in Singapore with their products, find a distributor or partner, and just start to do business, and hire someone like yourself probably to make sure that they are following all the, because it's kind of like, post-market countries it's just like driving in a speed limit is how I equate it. It's like there's a law that says you can only drive this fast, but you can go as fast as you want. When the police catch you, you're going to get in trouble.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like that situation where you can show up, sell your products, but if you're doing something wrong, they're going to catch you eventually and get you in some trouble.
Exactly.
So Vita Foods, let's kind of wrap this up. We can always do some more videos to go a little deeper, but it's just a good sense of what the Singapore market's like for regulatory. And if you're interested in Singapore, of course, people should contact you. But Vita Foods is moved. We were just talking about that earlier. 5 or 6 years ago, I think it moved from moved into Singapore. I think mainly because of the Expo Asia in Hong Kong had closed. But that's a good place to show up. I mean, it's again, it's a focal point for Southeast Asia, and you've been to the show probably quite a few times, right?
Yes, I've been to the show and see that there are quite a lot of ingredient suppliers. So it's a good place to start to look for partners.
Yeah, I've done some virtual events for them and some presentations about China, but I've not been to Vita Foods yet in Singapore, unfortunately. But hopefully, once this pandemic goes away, I can get over there. I'm looking forward to it.
I hope so too.
Yeah. So that's it for today. Let's wrap that up. And I look forward to talking to you more about some of the other work you've done around the region in Southeast Asia, and maybe talk about some other countries, because it is a big sprawling area. And I'm sure many of the people watching are interested in those different markets around Singapore. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
You take care, and we'll be in touch soon, okay?
Okay, you too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to HPA Global Insights. Please like, subscribe, and share with your colleagues. Any questions or suggestions, email us at info@uschinahpa.org. This channel is operated by US China Health Products Association, which is a nonprofit organization. Please consider joining the association and supporting its global endeavors. Your support is very much appreciated. Until next time, take care.